Hey YouTubers, this is the B and LGBT, and I wanted to talk about how most of you may have already heard we've lost a member of the LGBT community. Her name was Leelah Alcorn. Originally physically born male, she had came out as transgendered around the age of 14. And her parents were not accepting. And this story gets told a million times, but her parents put her through Christian therapy, which was not exactly the therapy she needed, because she had very severe depression, and this was very clear in her Tumblr posts. A lot of suicidal things. And it ended up being that Tumblr was probably the last place a lot of people heard from her, because that's where she wrote her suicide note before she had jumped in front of a truck that took her life. Now, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, the LGBT, they are used to the fact that they know people are not always going to be accepting, but the fact that it could push someone to, you know, sacrifice their own life, there's severe things going on. And recently her Reddit account has also been found. She was stating how basically, you know, her parents got her to be constantly fed with antidepressant pills, and the dosages were so high that she literally asked in her posts if it was a form of abuse. And that's sad, really, that, you know, something as little as someone saying that they don't feel that they fit into a certain gender binary bothers them so much that they feed their child pills to shut them up, pretty much. And this is a very sad thing that our community faces, that I don't think people realize is a problem as big as it is. People want to play it off like, well, you know, the gays, they're not getting as much discrimination as they used to and whatnot. But, I mean, there's still enough where people are taking their own lives. And granted, I am definitely not overshadowing the fact that this has happened before with other people. But this case has definitely made headlines because her parents, even after her killing herself, are still saying that they don't support their son's decision. Still using the wrong pronouns despite knowing how she felt when she was alive. And I think that's really rotten, because you would think, even with the posts that were made on her Tumblr, it would make a point to the parents like, we have really mentally tortured our child. And I'm not saying this in an offensive way, but you can tell by looking at her Tumblr that she was very mentally disturbed, not because she was transgendered, but because of the fact that she was so unaccepted by her parents that it had made her feel that way. And that's sad that our community has to face that. And I think parents need to be more embracing despite religious views, because the Bible can tell you whatever is a sin, and you can believe that God never makes mistakes, but this is your child, someone you had given birth to, and ultimately, in a way, ended their life, because Dan Savage had even said it, that basically her parents threw her in front of that car. They took their daughter's life with their words and their actions. So, definitely a powerful statement. And parents should definitely realize this, that they shouldn't be their child's bully. This is not something parents should do. You could be a religious person. You can by all means, have whatever beliefs you want to have. You have every right to have every belief that you want to have. But when it, persecutes your child to death, I think that's when we kind of need to step back and say to ourselves, my views and my opinions and my beliefs are tormenting my own child. You know what I mean? But nothing seems to have budged Leelah's parents. They're still calling her Josh, and I can honestly say that I hope they could someday embrace that they were in the wrong. To basically bully your child into death. But anyway, if you're a parent, don't persecute your child. Definitely embrace them as they are, even if you may not agree with it. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure parents would say that they would rather have their child alive and against their beliefs versus being dead and still having their beliefs.